Good evening, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Zooster by Night. Thank you for watching in. We will join Legate Seth as he just finished reporting to one bishop, and now he gets to go report to the other bishop. So he does reach out to contact to make sure that it's okay for him to, if Bishop Bratos has the spare time for a meeting.
Strange enough, the phone call goes to an answering machine.
Okay. So I will leave a message and uh, I will wait. It's not like wandering the city is gonna kill me. I will
Mhm.
wander in the general direction so that I'm not necessarily gonna be long if I do get an answer this evening.
And takes a few moments, your phone will ring with unidentified number. Surprise, surprise.
Okay, well, I will answer it.
Maddox,
Hello?
Seth, you tried to reach me?
Yes, I was wanting to get an audience with you since you had reached out to me earlier. I wanted to follow up on that.
Boardwalk has mentions an overnight net cafe that's probably going to be an empty one, and says, I'll meet you there.
All right, I will meet you there. And I head over.
And it doesn't take that long for the meeting to happen.
Okay.
Seth, was Seth familiar with Murdoch's new face already?
Yes, I did. I believe you had this face last time I met with you. So
Okay. Uh, Briefcase carrying, suit wearing, very, very fine suit that looks a little bit not like the substance it's faking to be. Uh, uh, White glove wearing Murdoch walks and nods to Seth.
Seth looks very much disheveled because I totally did not succeed whatsoever in trying to make my clothing look nicer. So I do look like I've been rolling around in the streets because I have been.
Mhm.
Uh, but other than just a few minor burns on the side of his face, he looks like he's almost totally recovered from his ordeal with Darsanga, Your Excellency.
Legate Seth, good to see you. So, you have some news for me?
Yes, I was surprised. Did Bishop Middlewaith request your assistance? That
Hmm.
you sent me the contact?
No, he didn't. I was concerned and quite honestly hopeful that the lending your pack a little assistance would mean I wouldn't have to extend assistance from areas that really couldn't afford the details. Unfortunately, we're in a situation where my secondary notion of giving you that little tip is probably the only benefit we're going to get out of it. I trust the mortal is alive and well,
Oh yes, yes he is.
and
Um,
very willing to cooperate with you further.
yes, yes.
You perhaps in the
I greeted him well.
future, perhaps in the future, you will actually be getting some sort of warnings about these kinds of things on your own.
Yeah, that's especially since it is close to the area that Bishop Middlewaith is having us carouse in. I'm sure it would
Mhm.
be good to have an ear there. Unfortunately, however, there were no bodies to rescue when I got there, and no bodies had gone there at all, actually.
Yes, I understood from Bishop Middlewade's contact that the bodies have been, well, going to very interesting places instead of the place I would have assumed them to end up in.
Yeah, well, it's possible. I don't really have the means to find out directly, or at least not quickly, because there's other priorities.
I'm here.
But it's likely that a precinct from the north end of the city, where they were more familiar with us previously, may have been the ones that initiated the raid. So there's a chance that our friends at the airport could be behind this.
Or some mortal hunters that have had plenty enough of invites to show up.
Yeah, that is true. It does seem odd, though, that apparently somebody from high up within the Zooster Police Department ordered the raid, and
You're new?
they were specifically targeting Alistair, the cop killer. So that does kind of me, to me anyway, sounds like somebody who'd be very, very familiar. But I guess to your point, it's not like he hasn't had a lack of discretion in his activities for a group of hunters to track and piece together.
And one would be reminded of the fact that I don't think anyone else in the city goes through the trouble of changing people's fingerprints when they give them new identities.
Yeah, probably not something that people think of. So,
No, and, well, usually a canine doesn't leave fingerprints, but if there's a sticky substance about, say blood, or sufficiently greasy dirt, you're going to find yourself leaving those fingerprints anyway.
well, that's true. The puzzling thing is that there wouldn't really be anything to link directly with the mailbox. So it's probably somebody that has been scouting and scooping out for a while and not necessarily just a coincidence of fingerprints.
They were looking for, they knew where they wanted to go, they needed the excuse. Not saying it like he, well, at least Murdoch appears to be solidly convinced that they needed the, how do you put it, the excuse for the mortals.
Oh yeah, because I mean, I'm sure most hunters probably don't want to alert the flock any more than we necessarily want to be on the front page
Well, most
news.
hunters who go and tell these kinds of things to anybody else are gonna end up in the loony bin.
That is
So,
true. That is true. But Bishop Middlewaith says that he's already discussed with you some of the concerns with the rescue attempt, and that there's not going to be any misunderstandings between the two of you should we have to find where they are and retrieve them.
I am even willing to assist personally on the matter. The Doctors of the Cerberus is also my Templar. She has the authority by myself on this case. If she is present and I am not, to make the necessary calls to make it happen. This is a situation where I want those people out.
Oh, of course. Because so far it doesn't feel like they have put an end to Aveline and Alistair. But who
Mm,
knows what information they could glean that would be detrimental if we do not rescue them quickly.
mm, yes, I do want them. It, well, at least one of them very much out. Wingulum affects us differently on case by case basis. So,
Yes, exactly. All right. Well, I just felt since you had extended the assistance, that I should probably let you know that I did act on it and what the results of those actions were, so that you knew it
Well,
wasn't a wasted gesture on your part.
I am glad to hear you actually took up the opportunity presented and used it in the best possible way. At least you managed to confirm that they weren't there without half the police department going dead. Which,
Yeah,
sadly, is something to be proud of in this city.
unfortunately, yes. Part of my concern would be the body count from the two of them waking up in a morgue and trying to escape. So,
Which is usually the reason when such things happen in an area I am better informed of. I try and be there to greet anyone who wakes up.
for certain. So, all right. Well, I appreciate the audience, your grace. Um, you got the samples that I had left off after the temperature test.
I imagine you can already tell from how you're feeling that it's not going to be the good news.
Yeah. Um, yeah, between the trying to create a supernatural fever and flushing the tainted blood out and replacing it with consecrated blood, I am still exhibiting the same symptoms.
I am currently going to be looking into volunteers to let me take a deep look into their digestive tracts, just in case this is some sort of a tapeworm, for instance.
Ooh, that's an interesting idea.
It would explain the tightness of the throat, the tendency to remove the blood from your system even when you're trying to drink, the lethargy, the symptoms of hunger.
Yeah, a Gould parasite would be horrendous.
And digestive tract would be the best place to look at it according to a specialist I consulted with.
Yes, that makes sense.
I am also going to be checking people's main arteries just in case. Just in case, instead of a digestive tract, it's decided to find itself a new haven, more nourishment rich than the others.
Yes. Okay. Well, and I still have the priesthood organized that we're going to attempt to contact Bashir tomorrow, so that way we can find out uh, from a thaumaturgical end of things whether or not there is something that can be done about this affliction.
All right. So I assume you're going to be part of that group.
Yes.
Last I dealt with Bashir, he was very accommodating to myself, whether because of mutual differences or the way he conducts himself, just something that might be helpful in establishing diplomatic situation if you end up face to face with him. Let him know that his assistance is needed by me. And when you get asked why didn't I show up, he will. You can tell him that I only visited once and I had a very good idea that if somebody had taken him out, there would be very peculiar things happen. A word of warning to yourself as well. He is Dromir Tribute. I know I have some items, and I have had some items that promise that he can actually cause damage with wards. Keep your eyes open for strange symbols, and maybe take a few temporary retainers with you. you know, just in case.
I appreciate the advice. I'm sure that we will be as prepared as we can in dealing with such things. My experience with Tremere Anti-Trivia is very minimal. However, I do know that they can enchant items. I've been told that and seen that in action, so I'm sure with wards and whatnot and the rumors about them, yeah, it could be dangerous if he doesn't feel hospitable.
And he also had a cult of humans to provide him blood with, so.
Well, depending upon what exactly happened on his oil rig, his resources might be somewhat depleted in defending from the terrorist attack, so.
Could be, but it's worth knowing that if you run into workers, they might be very, very loyal to him, despite any blood ties, existent or non-existent.
Yes.
I will try and be on call if you let me know when you're going out, in case you find yourself in a more combat-heavy situation than I expected to be. He was, to my estimation anyway, still not a warrior. And he is going to be most likely alone, if it's him. So it's not like you're venturing into a pack versus pack situation. Small consolations?
Yes. All right. Well, I appreciate the audience, Dr. Bratos, and I will keep you informed of any other developments in these areas.
Definitely. Need to get this contagion handled. It's keeping us from getting and dealing with the other issues
Yes.
effectively. Thank you for your time, Legate.
And Seth will get up and head back into the night.
And Murdoch, of all possible things, will log into the interwebs.
Well, when he gets back, Seth is going to go on to his laptop and he's going to set up a Craigslist ad to continue with a thought process earlier in the evening that he's actually going to advertise under a different name for a private investigator. So let's see if that turns out to be an beneficial course of action in the future. But until then, thank you for watching. You guys have a good night.